Bonġu mill-ġdid nispera li tinsabu tajbin illum issa wara 8 u allura probabbli streċċjajna u stirajna u lesti kif jiena lesta jien biex illaqgħakom mal-mistiedna li jmiss ħaġa li minn dejjem xtaqt nagħmel u li nibqa' nittama li tiġri wkoll li b'xi mod xi darba jkolli ċans u ġieli semmita. Jekk hux b'xi mod inkun viċin ħafna jew lej l-Oscars, jew lej il-Grammys, jew lej xi forma ta' onuri daw iċ-ċerimonji sbieħ li naraw. Dik hija ħolma ta' minn dejjem, taf kif wieħed ikollu dejjem dik il-ħolma u jibqa' jittama. Insegwi ħafna mill-viċin, però llum se jkolli x-xorti wkoll li laqgħakom ma' xi ħadd li kien ġurija wkoll fil-Grammy Awards. Infatti nilqa' mill-ewwel ħdejja lil Chellcy. Chellcy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great, thank you.
Your weekend?
It was wonderful.
Wonderful. We're discussing your name because Chellcy, but spelled differently.
Yes, my mother wanted to spell it something different than a football team.
Music is your life, your passion.
Yes.
You sing.
Yes, I'm a singer-songwriter.
But yes. What inspires you?
Traveling and my life experiences, and just any hardships I've been through as well, and happy moments.
But you're still very young.
Well, I could be younger.
Myself as well. You're still very young. How do you love your time in Malta?
I love Malta. I originally came here in 2005 for work. I used to be a professional dancer before I was a singer-songwriter. And I just kept coming back every year on tour. And eventually I said I want to live in Malta. My heart is in Malta. I love it. So in 2012, I permanently moved here to Malta.
So whatever is art-related works for you?
Yes.
Infatti jiena xtaqt nara li Chellcy tħobb dak kollu li għandu x'jaqsam mal-mużika kienet żeffina wkoll, però kelli kurżità inkun naf kif spiċċat parti mill-ġurija tal-Grammy Awards u meta sirt naf kif għaliex jiena bdejt ngħid isma' kif inhu l-proċess qas għandi idea qas biss irrealizzajt. How did you end up as a voter in the Grammy Awards? Because it wasn't you at first.
Right. I actually never even imagined becoming a voting Grammy member. I'm part of this Nashville Breakfast Composers Club.
Okay.
And we meet online every Thursday. And I met Elizabeth Rose in that group. And she's a songwriter and the president of the Songwriter and Lyricist Composers Club in New York. And she came to Malta on a cruise and she wanted to meet me in person. So I took her and her husband around and she said, I want to listen to your music. I love your story. It's inspiring and you need to be a voting Grammy member. So she wrote me a letter of recommendation. And then I had to find a second letter of recommendation. And then there's a very long application and vetting process.
To become a voting member.
To become a voting member. I started the process in February 2025, and I was accepted as a voting member in July 2025. And my application was 32 pages, so they basically want to know every little thing about you and any accolades. You have to have released a certain amount of music. You need media appearances, magazine articles, everything, your whole life. You have to give it to them, and then they decide if you are qualified or not.
Where were you when you received the call or read the email?
You know, I was at a Womanifest event because I'm a huge Womanifest supporter. That's where I was this weekend as well. It's a beautiful conference for women. And I received an email and I started crying. I couldn't believe it. I still get emotional. It's such an honor to be part of that and to be part of something larger than myself in music and just to be so connected to my industry peers. It's a wonderful feeling.
Huwa xi ħadd irrekomanda lil Chellcy wkoll biex tkun membru anki tal-ġurija u kienet qiegħda f'da l-avveniment meta rat l-email li hija aċċettata bħala membru. Proċess li ħab pjuttost fit-tul minn frar sa Lulju, però tista' timmaġina għalfejn wieħed ikun irid jiċċekkja wkoll. And then I asked you, this was online, this was a process which happened online, the actual voting, but then you got to actually be there in LA. And we're seeing the photos as well.
Yes.
I'm so jealous, but in a good way, but I am jealous.
It was an amazing experience. I never imagined that I would go. So the way that the voting process works and the Grammys work, there's round one. There was 22 entries for round one. It's all done online. Everyone votes in 16 categories. And then there's round two, and that's when you actually get the nomination. And they narrow each category down to 5 to 8 nominees per category.
Okay.
And then everyone votes again in round two, and then that's what determines the actual winner of each category. Nobody knows who the winner is. An outside entity like a bank or a corporation, they count all of the votes so that there cannot be any tampering. And then they find out, we all find out, the day that they open the envelope on stage at the Grammys. So everyone is always surprised at who's gonna actually win.
And then the actual night, because I hear you're a great fan of Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. As well.
Yes, I am. I love Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, as well as Youngblood and The Cure, and they all won this year, and I was I personally voted for them, of course, but I was just over the moon getting to see them accept their awards and hear their speeches, and Lady Gaga's performance and Bruno Mars' performances were impeccable as always.
Għalix fi frar, meta kien hemm il-Grammys, Chellcy seta' tkun hemmhekk fl-udjenza tara dak kollu li kien għaddej f'LA, tkun parti minna u tħobb ħafna Lady Gaga u l-Bruno Mars u seta' tarhom hemmhekk b'mod live ukoll jirċievu l-unuri tagħhom. But there was this one moment which was really special to you during these awards.
Yes, and actually I want to cry every time I think about it. It was when they brought Joni Mitchell on stage to accept her award for her past album that had been basically remastered and re-released. And somebody walked her out onto the stage to accept the award, but she is so elderly, she didn't fully understand that she was there to accept an award. And everyone's waiting for her to speak, and there was this really long, pregnant pause. And then suddenly the person with her said, "You need to speak. You are receiving an award." And then she lit up and she started talking, and she spoke to us as though we were all her grandchildren sitting in her living room. Everyone was crying, everyone was like giving her standing ovations, multiple standing ovations. It was just a really heartwarming and wonderful.
So at first she wasn't even realizing that she was getting a reward.
No, she had no idea. She had no idea that she was accepting a huge award.
Oh my, oh my.
When she did, then she like came on, you know? It was great.
Dawn huma momenti sbieħ ħafna li rnexxiela tgħix Chellcy ukoll. Nixtieq li nerġgħu naraw ir-ritratt tagħha ta' Chellcy waqt il-Grammy Awards għaliex il-look li rajt jiena u dik hija xi ħaġa sabiħa wkoll li anki fuq it-tapit l-aħmar waqt li tkun hekk f'xi ħaġa f'xi avveniment bħal I love your look.
Thank you so much. It's by Charles,
Okay.
of Charles and Ron.
Did you actually know before, did you design, did you have a clue what you were about to wear, what you wanted to wear for this huge night?
I did. I told Charles that I would like a very fitted kind of Morticia Adams, but more elegant sort of look. Something sparkly and maybe with some feathers and long sleeved because it's February there and it was going to be chilly at night. So, and then Charles designed that absolutely stunning gown, and I was very proud to be in it.
Music is your life. What are you working on at the moment?
Actually, right now, I'm about to release 2 live albums, which are the live version of my previous 2 albums. I just released Carpe Diem album, and I'll be singing the single from that album a little bit later on. And I'm going to release the live version of that album. We performed at Sala San Domingo, and we recorded the whole performance, and also there will be films of it that I'm putting up on YouTube, so I'm quite excited about that. And I also have an EP coming out later this year and the beginning of next year. And I was also nominated in 9 categories for the European International Music Awards. And I'm waiting till the end of this month when they announce the winners. I'm quite excited about being nominated for that.
Of course. Would you consider actually being a voting member again in the upcoming years for the Grammys?
Oh, I intend to be a lifetime member. I will be definitely voting every year, and I want to be a big part of that. And I love the advocacy that the Recording Academy does. Besides just the Grammys, they do advocacy all year long for the rights of artists. They do a Grammy U mentorship program, and I'm a Grammy U mentor now as well. And basically you're assigned an up-and-coming artist who's new, and just showing them the ropes and guiding them through whatever questions they have and through their musical journey. So I personally have a mentee in Nashville, and that's been a really rewarding experience as well. So lifetime member, definitely.
Infatti, apparti l-ġurija, jkun hemm ukoll membri li jgħinu jigwidaw lill-artisti u jaqbżu għad-drittijiet kollha tal-artisti, u din hija interessanti u importanti probabbli ta' min li xi darba niddiskutuha wkoll. You shall be singing for us soon as well.
Yes.
Here?
Yes, I will be singing Carpe Diem. It's the single from my latest album I released in November.
Amazing. I will need to move now because I have some other guests, but we'll be listening to you soon. Infatti ħankun qed nerġa' nfakkarkom wara Chellcy, issa ħanerġgħu nisimgħu tkanta. Dalwaqt jien ħankun qed naqsam min-naħa l-oħra tal-istudju għaliex għandi żewġ mistiedna li qed narhom minn hawnhekk, però l-ewwel ħankun qed infakkarkom dwar il-kursità ta' dalgħodu.